Hi folks, it's me Wicklow, and today is New Book Tuesday for August 10th. Like every Tuesday, we're going to be talking about the books that just have been released. Some of them I have read, which will have a star beside them, and some of them will be added to my TBR, like this little icon says. We're just going to go through all of the books that happen, and we're going to start off with our middle grade books. So let's kick it off. So the first book that is released today is called Ghost Girl. It's perfect for fans of small spaces and night books. And I know that this book is considered horror, fantasy, and paranormal vibes with a little bit of mystery involved. It follows Z. Z loves ghost stories. She's never expected to be living one. It all starts with a dark and stormy night when the sky's clear, everything's different, people are missing. There's this creepy new principal who seems to know everyone's deepest dreams. And Z is seeing frightening things, large and scary dogs that talk and maybe even a ghost. When she tells her classmate, only her best friend Elijah believes her. Worse, mean girl Nellie gives Z a cruel nickname, Ghost Girl. But whatever the storm washed up isn't going away. Everyone's most selfish wishes starts coming true in creepy ways. To fight for what's right, Z will have to embrace what makes her different and makes her Ghost Girl. And all three of them, Z, Elijah, and Nellie, will have to work together if they want their ghost stories to have a happy ending. So I'm a fan of these covers. Like, this cover is beautiful, and I'm so jealous because when I was younger, we didn't have these upscale, beautiful, illustrated, covers. So it's getting added to the TBR because, first of all, it's paranormal and it's got ghosts, and we love kick-ass girls. So 100% adding to the TBR. The next book that we're going to be talking about is Mine, which also gives huge horror vibes. I love the cover, but I'm just 9 to 12. When I was younger, my parents would not have let me. They take one look at that cover and been like, haha, you thought. It is a horror, paranormal ghost book, and it follows a young girl. Of course, it's a young girl. Always a young girl. Lily's new house is a nightmare. Lily Horne is a drama queen. It helped her rise to stardom in the school play, but it also landed her in trouble. Her parents warned her that Florida has to be different. It's a fresh start, no theatrics, but this time the drama isn't coming from her. The Horne's new house is awful. The pool is full of slime, the dock is rotten, and the swamp creeps closer every day. But worst of all, the house isn't empty. It's packed full of trash, memories, and Lily begins to fear the ghost of a girl who lived there before her, and whatever is waiting in the shadows wants to come out to play. Oh yeah, TBR. Getting added to the TBR. I'm really liking, I know I just said that kids got all these beautiful covers, but they're also getting so many stories that I'm just back when I was younger, I know that they tried to, besides R.L. Stein's, they were oh, we don't really want our kids involved in horror stuff or anything. This though is more developed, and we love stories that have both friendship, real life things, but we also want to make kids have a full compass of horror, love, adventure, thrills. They have to be open to genres because when they're older, we need to know what they like, and if they like the certain stuff, then they'll be reading more. So, excellent, getting added to the TBR list for sure. The last book on our middle grade book list is The Otherside of Luck. So this book is considered a fantasy and family connection book with a little bit of grieving because it does start off with a family member dying, and the main character is going to have to cope with that, and it starts their journey. But follows two children from opposite circumstance as their fates cross and change their lives forever. Ever since her mother's death, Princess Una has suffered 3 years of loneliness in the royal palace. Where children are treated as an afterthought, she yearns for a different life, but is unsure how to make anyone notice her. Then her father announces a special contest. Whoever finds the rare Sylvia flower can present it to Una for her 12th birthday and receive a reward. Frustrated by her father's grand but empty gesture, Una decides to take her fate into her own hands. Oh yeah, do it. Julian, a young pauper, has tried his whole life to make something of nothing, a alongside his hardworking Baba. When Baba is arrested by terrifying debt collectors, Julian's only hope is to win the contest and find the evasive Sylvia flower. Little does he know, Una has decided to embark on a journey to find the prize as well. As Una and Julian search for the flower, their destinies intertwine and offer a reward greater than anything either could have hoped for. I love this. So it's going to deal with, obviously, like, grieving, and probably shows a good aspect about families going into debt, because that's one thing that is hardly ever covered in books, and like shows like how much children really feel when they're stressed in the house. So I hope this deals with that and shows like how serious this matter is, while also having how to deal with it, as well as the magical aspects. So definitely TBR list for sure. So we're moving on to our teen YA book series. There's been not as many as last week, but quite a few good books are coming out, a few sequels. And we're going to start off with How Moon Fernandez Fell in Love with the Universe. And this book is contemporary and romance. And that cover is gorgeous. I love it so much. It's so pretty. And their previous book I had wanted to read and then just kept forgetting. So after reading this book, all I'm going to say is I want to read her other books. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say. Yeah. The Hating Game meets I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. When her twin sister reaches social media stardom, Moon Fernandez accepts her fate as the ugly, unwanted sister, hidden in the background, destined to be nothing more than her sister's camera woman. But this summer, Moon also takes a job as the merch girl on a tour bus full of beautiful influencers, and her fate begins to shift in the best way possible. Most notably is her bunkmate and new nemesis, Santiago Philip, who is grumpy and also the hottest guy Moon has ever seen. Moon is certain she hates Santiago and that he hates her back, but as chance and destiny, and maybe probably close proximity, brings the two of them into each other's paths, Moon starts to wonder if that's really true. She even starts to question her destiny as the unnoticed, unloved wallflower that she always thought she was. Could this summer change Moon's life as she knows it? I read this, so I'm not going to speculate like I usually do. All I'm going to say is I can't wait for other people to read this. Moving on, we have our next book, which is Rise Up from the Embers, which is known to be a fantasy mythological. I don't know if it's reimagined mythology or if it's like very much influenced from mythology, because this is the second book in a series and I haven't read the first one. I just know that it was very hyped up when it was released, so I might have to add this both to my TBR list. But this is also a spoiler warning, just for everybody who knows, because I'm spoiling it for myself. Avatar: The Last Airbender meets Gladiator. So 2 gods are dead, the mother goddess has returned, war is rising. Fleeing war-ravaged Demios? I hope I say that right. Ash and Maddox sail across the ocean to their only possible allies, the water and plant gods. But when Anathrasa attacks on the way, Ash leaps to the defense by using her powers she didn't know she had. When Maddox makes the fire and earth gods mortal, he inevitably transferred their magic to Ash. Now if Ash can get Energia from the other 4 gods, she would be powerful enough to end I can't say it. Anathrasa. Every pronunciation is gonna be fucking different. Every pronunciation is gonna be different when I say this. Ooh, once and for all. But not all the gods want the mother goddess defeated. To stop her, Maddox will have to become the obedient son his mother always wanted, and Ash will have to take her merciless place among the gods. To defeat an immortal, Ash and Maddox must fight like gods, even if it means sacrificing their humanity. Okay, very confused because I haven't read the first book, but this does sound very, very interesting. I like whenever books really like touch base on humanity and what it means to be anything more than human, or what it means to be human, and the sacrifices you might have to give up to reach like your end goal of being good or morally gray. So yeah, this actually sounds really good. Yeah, TBR. The next book we're going to be talking about is The Devil Makes Three. As you can see that I have actually read this book, and it is considered horror, thriller, paranormal, supernatural, mystery. It's also put down as romance, but I wouldn't really consider that myself, because it was kind of a when I read it, it was more like a backseat burner, but it does have a hint of romance just for people who are interested in that sort of stuff. Cover, beautiful. I always appreciate a good cover. Tessa only wants 3 things: time to practice her cello, for her sister to be happy, and everyone to leave her alone. Instead, Tess finds herself working all summer at her boarding school's library, shelving books, dealing with the intolerable patrons. The worst of all is Elliot. Elliot is a snide, privileged, and constantly requesting forbidden grimoires. After a bargain with Elliot leads to the discovery of an ancient book in the library's grimoire collection, the pair accidentally unleash a book-bound demon. The demon will stop at nothing to stay free, manipulating ink to threaten those Tessa loves and dismantling Elliot's strange magic. Tess is plagued by terrible dreams of the devil and haunting memories of a boy who wears Elliot's face. All she knows is to stay free, the demon needs her, and he'll have her, dead or alive. So I have read this, as you saw from the star, and it'll be in my review later on. So all I'm going to say is very original concept, and I did enjoy the storyline, like of what this demon involved in books. That was very original, very interesting. The next book we're going to be talking about, another one that I have read, is The Sisters of Reckoning, which is book 2 in the Good Luck Girls series. It is LGBTQ+. It is Wild West retelling kind of vibes, sci-fi, fantasy, and does have a little bit of romance in it. The Good Luck Girls are free. Aster's sister and friends have new lives across the border, and while Aster remains, helping more girls escape, she is content. But news of a new welcome house opening fills Aster with a need to do more than just help individual girls. And an unexpected reunion gives her an idea of how to do that. From there grows a wildly ambitious plan to free all Dustbloods who live as prisoners to landmasters and debt slavers. When Clementine and the others return, they become the heart of a vibrant group of fearless fighters, working to unite the various underclass and convince them to join in the fight. Along the way, friendships will be forged, lives will be lost, and love will take root, even in the harshest of circumstances, between the most unexpected of lovers. But will Dustbloods finally come into power and freedom, or will resistance just open them up to a new sort of danger? This book also really encompasses like slavery, and in how people will disguise it as, oh, you just have to work off your debts, or oh, you just need to do this or that, and then you're totally going to be free. It really has thought-provoking elements to it that I really enjoyed. I would recommend it to your TBR list if you haven't. Definitely read the first one. Definitely had a new imagination on Wild West like high fantasy. So yeah. The next book that we're going to be talking about is Mark of the Wicked, which I'm actually getting in the Unplugged book box. It's being shipped right now. I'm pretty sure that I chose the teen one, and this was their option for the teen one. So I'm excited about this one because it is seen as a fantasy, horror, supernatural witch story. And it follows a young witch as she tries to unravel the mystery of who is framing her for dark magic. And I'm like, you ticked all the boxes. So it's added to my TBR. I haven't received it yet. So otherwise it would have been read by now. Trust me, if I had got it before, I'd have been like, yes, yes. But it's on the way. Super excited. So magic always leaves its mark. All her life, Matilda has been told one thing about magic. You only use it when necessary, but Matilda isn't interested in being a good witch. She wants revenge and popularity, and to live her life free of consequences, free of scars that dark magic leaves on her face as a reminder of her misdeeds. When a spell goes awry, the new boy catches her in the act. Matilda thinks her secret might be out, but far from being afraid, Oliver already knows about her magic, and he wants to learn more. As Oliver and Matilda grow closer, bizarre things begin to happen. Animals show up dead, with their throats slashed and odd markings carved in their body. A young girl dies mysteriously, and everyone blames Matilda, but she isn't responsible, at least not that she can remember. But as her magic begins to spiral out of control, Matilda must decide for herself what makes a good witch and discover the truth before anyone turns up dead. So, cover, synopsis, all of those categories, I have high hopes for this one. I'm really hoping it hits all of the markers because it's the vibe it's giving me. Ooh. The next book we're going to talk about is In the Wild Light. This was considered a contemporary fiction, well, realistic fiction, I've been told, poetry, romance. Yeah, it's got a few things that's ticking off. Life in a small town is not easy. Cash lost his mother to an opiate addiction, and his papa is dying slowly. Ooh. Dodging drug dealers and watching out for his best friend, Delele, is second nature. He's been spending his summer mowing lawns while she works at Dairy Queen. But when Delele manages to secure both of them full rides to an elite prep school in Connecticut, Cash will have to grapple with his need to protect and love Delilah, and his love for his grandparents who saved him and the town he would have to leave behind. I feel like that wasn't enough of a synopsis, but I think I might still read it. It's going to be on the low TBR list, but I do like a lot of books that have like realistic like worlds, definitely could see happening day to day. So definitely considering that one. And we're going to be talking about our last YA teen book, which I just finished actually, The Breath Between Waves. So this book is a historical fiction LGBTQ plus romance book. And I'm a little bit biased because it has an Irish character in it. The minute I saw it, I was like, request, please, 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 please. So it follows Penelope Fletcher, who gave up everything to board the Titanic. Forced to travel to America for her father's new job, Penelope left her home in Scotland, her beloved grandmother, and even her girlfriend, who promptly got engaged to someone else. Ooh. Heartbroken, Penelope isn't looking forward to the week-long journey or that her parents want her to find a husband in America. To make matters worse, she also has to share a cabin with a complete stranger. Ruby, her spunky Irish roommate, is unlike anyone Penelope has ever met. They become fast friends as they bond over crushing family expectations and sneaking into lush parties together. That Ruby likes women too comes as a surprise to Penelope, but she knows that her affair can only be temporary. Because as soon as the Titanic arrives in New York, Penelope will have to marry someone of her father's choosing. Before long, though, they will both have to decide what and who is really worth fighting for. And I am not prepared because the Titanic, we all know how this is gonna... We're on to our next section, which is fiction, sci-fi, romance, fantasy. We're actually going to be starting with the first book, which is a romance book. And it got released today. It is called Wait For It. And it is a romance, mental health, contemporary book. The cover just looked kind of cute. And then when I dived into the synopsis, I knew this was going to be added to my TBR. It just deals with a lot of like great subjects of like how you could be 30 and you don't have your life together, because someone who's almost near her 30s and still doesn't have an idea of what's going on. I appreciate that. I appreciate also not feeling like a failure. But the synopsis follows. A woman looking for a new lease on life moves to Arizona, where she rents a guest house on a gorgeous property with a mysterious owner, a man who teaches her about courage and ultimately true love. Stuck in a dreary Boston winter, Annabelle would like nothing more than to run away from her current life. She's not even 30 years old, and she's been twice divorced and has just dodged a marriage proposal from her ex-husband. When offered her dream job as a creative director at a cutting-edge graphic design studio in Phoenix, she jumps at the opportunity. When she arrives in the Valley of the Sun, Annabelle is instantly intrigued by her anonymous landlord. Based on the cranky handwritten notes Nick leaves her, she assumes he is an old grump. Annabelle is shocked when she finds Nick is actually her age and uses a wheelchair. Nick suffers from a stroke a year ago, and while there's no physical reason for him not to recover, he is struggling to overcome his paralyzing fear that has kept him prisoner in his own home. Despite her promise to herself to not get involved, Annabelle finds herself irresistibly drawn to Nick, and soon she wonders if she and Nick might help each other find the courage to find happiness and love. This got added to my TBR. 100%. I need some good, like, finding yourself and finding love and hope books sometimes, and this is definitely one of those. So I'm very excited to read that. The next book that we're going to be talking about is actually on our fantasy side. It is called On the Black Tides, and it is an adventure, romance, fantasy, pirate book. Oh yeah, pirate. And I was so ready for pirates. I just love pirates. An heir on the run. In 1 month, Aoife will turn 20 and take her seat on the council, an honor she has been preparing for her whole life. But when she lets a secret slip to her mother with a devastating consequence, all her plans for her future crumble. Believing her people to be better off without her, she flees, stowing away on a pirate ship bound for dangerous waters. A pirate captain who needs her help. Captain Declan is young compared to his pirate lords, but after 12 years on the grueling sea, he has earned a well-respected ship and the attention of the lords, who like nothing better than to see his ruin. All he wants to do is leave the sea and his past behind. But when his sister demands he find the enchanted dagger her rebel faction needs to overthrow the ruling council, he'll have to decide whether to cast off all family ties or take the perilous voyage to waters guarded by sirens, only passable with the help of the last remaining fae currently imprisoned by the council. With murder and betrayal at every turn, can Aoife and Declan learn to rely on one another, or will their secrets carry them to destroy each other and the people they love? TBR. You know what? I'm never going to finish my TBR. It's just always going to keep growing and growing and growing with every single Tuesday that I do this. But it's going to be worth it. When books are this good, why would you not add them to your TBR? Like, it's just a waste. So folks, that was our New Book Tuesday video. I hope you saw some books that you like. If there's any books that I missed, please comment below and let me know. And if you do like this video, please subscribe or like, or, you know what, just keep coming back because I'm always going to be here. I hope you folks have a great day and see ya.